Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, for those of you who just joined us, my name is Wally Rauder. I'm your host for BizTalk 76. It's Saturday in Singapore. It's gone 5 minutes after 5 p.m. It's a wet, rainy day in Singapore. I hope you all have better weather than we have here. Good afternoon and welcome to BizTalk 76. I will be talking to you about the importance of prioritizing tasks in today's business world. It's not only affecting business, but it's also affecting you in your individual lives. Whether you're studying, whether you have a boyfriend and are planning to get married, whether you're married and planning to have children, whether you're married planning to buy a house, or whether you're young and you want to be a millionaire, all of that requires planning. And part of planning is prioritizing the elements in order to ensure that you achieve the goals you have set yourself. Because if you fail, it's not because you can't do it. It's because you are a failure, because you do not know how to prioritize. You do not know how to plan. You do not know how to look at the reasons that you face problems. You simply give up. Let's today talk about how we overcome this. Let's today learn the basics of what we call indispensable prioritization tools that you can use, whether in your business life, your work routine, or your private life. Let's now go to my PowerPoint presentation. We're talking about the power of prioritizing tasks for increased productivity. So what are we talking about when we say increased productivity? It could be productivity in many ways, in many shapes, and in many forms, ladies and gentlemen. Productivity in your personal life, productivity in your business life, productivity in your work life. All of these they are all reasons why you might want to use prioritization. Prioritization allows you to actually set dates and set yourself goals in order to achieve a particular task. And it will help you to feel better once you've achieved it. Because if you achieve a task, obviously it will motivate you to take on another task. Let's today look at why prioritization, why optimization of productivity at its maximum. Okay, here we go. Who can tell me, what does prioritizing mean to you? Who can tell me? Richard, Pecco, can you tell me, what does prioritization mean to you? Can you unmute your microphone? Unmute your microphone and tell me, what does prioritization mean to you, Richard? Go ahead, Richard.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Richard. What does prioritization mean to you?
In my perspective, sir, prioritizing is you have a focus or goal, sir.
You focus on getting something done. Is that right? You
Yes, sir.
focus on achieving a result. Because if you don't focus on achieving that result, your result remains a dream and you'll never be successful. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes or
Correct.
no? Excellent.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Thank you for your input, Richard.
Welcome, sir.
Who else would like to share with me why it's important to actually set goals? Let's go to Bikram Suna. Good afternoon, Mr. Bikram. Unmute your microphone, please.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good, thank you. What does prioritizing mean to you?
In my point of view, prioritizing means doing most important work first, and
Yes.
which needs to be done anyhow. Those kind of work we should do first, and later we should do any less important work. So
Okay.
prioritizing work will help you to get done the things which needs to be done anyhow. So that is
Very,
what I understand, sir.
very good. And if you don't prioritize, what usually happens is you don't get everything done, and your goal will fail. It will forever be a dream. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bikram. Nice to talk to you. Who else wants to talk to me? There was a young lady here with a hand up and it suddenly disappeared. Guys, once you put your hand up, please stay around. I'd love to talk to you. Can anybody else tell me, what does prioritization mean to you? Who can tell me? Marie Laranja, are you here, Marie? Go ahead, Marie. Tell me, what does prioritization mean to you? Go ahead, Marie.
For me, sir, prioritize is if you want something, you need to focus them every day. You need to get up and do it and get it.
Yeah, so you need to plan on how you're going to achieve it. Is
Yes.
that right? Because if you don't plan for it, Marie, you'll never achieve it. It will forever be a dream. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Good on you. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much. Okay, let me talk to Marika. Marika, how are you, Marika? Can you open your microphone? Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello, are you there, Marika?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me, ma'am, what does prioritizing mean to you?
For me, prioritizing is focus on something that you want first than others.
Okay, but by prioritizing, you're not only focusing, what are you actually doing? You're making it more important so you achieve what you want. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good on you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, prioritizing is very simple. And most of you got the definition right. Prioritizing is basically your activity that arranges items or parts or issues in your life in order of importance relative to each other. In context of medical evaluation, it is the establishment of the important or the urgency of actions that are necessary to preserve the life or welfare of a patient. For example, if you go to hospital complaining of chest pain and the doctor does a scan and then establishes that you have a heart condition, the urgency is no longer just to make you feel better. The urgency becomes saving your life from having a heart attack and dealing with the critical issue that you have a heart condition which you weren't aware of before. If you go to the doctor and you basically have a headache or a flu, and you say to the nurse, I want to see the doctor, and the nurse says, okay, as soon as he's finished with the patient. However, 30 seconds later, an old man walks in with his family, and the old man is not conscious. Who is the priority for the doctor? The young girl who's just got a headache or the old man who's unconscious? Of course, it's the old man who's unconscious because the doctor has an ethical responsibility to save the patient's life. Does everybody understand that? It's prioritization. And prioritization for somebody who works in a hospital is something they have to deal with every minute of the day, every time a new patient comes in. But for most of us that work or in business, in office, we have to prioritize also, not only in our personal life, but in our working life. Otherwise, we don't achieve our goals. Our goals will forever remain a dream. They will never be achieved because we have not been able to establish what is the most important element in our life that we need to get done in order to move forward. Do you understand that, Ninda? Ninda Dem? I see you're falling to sleep on me, Ninda. I'm worried. Do you understand what I said? Yes or no? Good on you, mate. Okay, so let's talk about prioritizing. If you're planning a wedding, you have to prioritize. Is anybody here planning a wedding? Can you put your hand up so I can use you as an example? Anybody planning a wedding? No, okay. Paul John has put his hand up. Obviously, he's planning a wedding. Let's talk to him. Where are you, Paul John? Are you there? Paul John, are you there? Can you unmute your microphone and talk to me, Paul John? Go ahead. Are you
Hi,
there,
sir.
sir? Good. Are you planning a wedding?
Uh, yes, but not my wedding. It's
Whose
gonna
wedding?
be for my niece.
So, as an uncle, what is your role in her wedding?
Well, I plan to take everything because I want everything in perfect.
You
So
want to give her the perfect wedding, right?
yes, it's like a garden wedding and a fairy tale wedding like that.
Congratulations. And when is the wedding going to happen?
That will be on March 2024.
Tell me, why weren't you my uncle when I got married? I needed somebody like you. Where were you?
Right now I'm in Saudi Arabia, and next
Okay.
year I'm coming home to Philippines.
All right. So tell me, when you're planning a wedding for her, obviously you talk to her regularly to make sure she's happy with your plans. But
Yeah.
tell me, did you go through a list of prioritizing all the tasks in the wedding so you don't forget anything?
Well, yeah. So first, what I did is I took their acknowledgement. I asked both parties if they want my plan. I
Yeah,
asked them if they want, and I also talked to both parents, and we started seeking for some sponsors. What will be the theme, the motive, and how much will it cost?
fantastic. And what did you find more difficult, dealing with the bride and the groom or their parents?
With the bride and the groom, it's really difficult because they are still actually young, so they
Yeah.
still have to start thinking like, "Oh, I actually changed my mind, Uncle. No, I want this. Oh, well, maybe let's just do civil wedding. No, we will do this wedding." Like,
Okay, so you see, what you just said is a core hindrance to prioritization because sometimes we prioritize, but along the way, plans
mm-hmm,
change. And what happens when something changes, if your priorities don't change, at the end, the result will fail. For example, if the girl doesn't go and try her dress on at the fitting 3 months before her wedding and leaves
mm-hmm,
it to the day of her wedding, and her wedding dress will not zip up, she has
mm-hmm.
no wedding dress. So I hope your niece has already tried on her wedding dress. Has she tried on her wedding dress?
Not yet, but I already hired a designer who will make her gown,
I think
and
yeah, you better keep track because if the designer makes it and it's a few inches too tight, don't do what my wife did. She only tried on her gown the night before the wedding, and the seamstress had to work for 2 hours the night before to fix a $23,000 dress for her to wear that this husband had to pay for. So if you're trying to understand where I'm coming from and where our colleague here is coming from, prioritization plays a role even in your wedding. And hopefully he will have enough experience that when he plans his own wedding, he doesn't need a wedding planner. When is your wedding, by the way?
they'll be on March 2024.
Okay,
Perhaps third week or last week of March. Not
so
yet
So
confirmed.
it's good experience for you to plan a wedding now, right? You're getting
Mm-hmm.
very good experience. Congratulations. My humble congratulations to your niece. And hopefully after I finished with you today, you can take some of my tools and use them to help you planning her wedding. All right. I'll talk to you again shortly. Thank you for your input. Thank you so much. All right. So let's go on, ladies and gentlemen. So prioritizing is an important activity in everybody's life. If you have children, every day you prioritize your children's lives, going to school. You prioritize them coming home and doing their homework. It's prioritization. Let's go on. Okay, what does prioritization involve? It's not just simply saying this is more important than that. Prioritization is figuring out what has to be done and why it has to be done, what are the consequences if it's not done, and what are the implications if you delay it to later. For example, getting married. What are the consequences if the bride doesn't have a wedding dress that fits? What will she wear on the day of her wedding? What are the consequences if a patient with a heart attack doesn't see a doctor quickly enough before the girl with a headache? What are the consequences? I can tell you the consequences. For the girl without a wedding dress, it will be the most miserable day of her life because she'll feel embarrassed wearing a t-shirt and her jeans to her wedding if the consequences create that. Number two, for the patient with a heart attack, he'll be dead. And his family will sue the doctor. They are the consequences. They are the realities of life. If you don't realize that, then you're living in another world. We may better utilize our time and energy by listening to what we need to do, looking at what we need to do and seriously asking ourselves, should I do this first or should I do that first? Which one is more important for me to achieve the end result? Which one has more serious consequences? Which one has implications? Which one does everybody understand that? Can you raise your hands if you understand what I said? Raise your hands, please. Raise your hands. Please raise your hand when I talk to you. I don't like talking to a brick. Please. Graham Ferites, are you there? Can you raise your hand? I need to see your face on camera. Otherwise, you will not receive any certificate, Graham. Sorry. And also, Jeremy, please switch on your camera. I need to see you. Otherwise, no certificate. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Malu Bales, you need to show me your face on camera. Otherwise, no certificate. Please make sure your face is showing all the time. Otherwise, no certificate. All right. So does everybody understand what I mean by the act of prioritization? Can you raise your hand if you understand? Wave to me if you understand. Come on. Everybody wave. Good. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So in order to prioritize and to prioritize correctly, we need to have the right understanding of the science or the method by which we prioritize. And we call that having an effective strategy. The gentleman who just spoke to me has an effective strategy. He spoke to his niece's parents, to the groom's parents. He spoke to the bride and the groom, and they constantly are changing their minds. So he has a strategy on how to deal with them. He has to be firm, he has to be strict, and he has to give them deadlines that any changes after today will not be entertained. Because if we keep changing, you won't have a wedding. Strategy. Effective strategy brings together vision and the road to execution. Malu is doing her laundry. Malu has a plan on how to do her laundry. She has steps. She has prioritized. She has to iron all the shirts. She has to wash all the underwear. She has to wash the dishes. They're part of her duties of housekeeping. They are her priorities today. Am I right, Malu? Wave your hand to me, Malu. Good girl. Excellent. So prioritization and having effective strategy is critical. Usually, they are typically only shared within an organization and ideally built around an organization's need and in market context. So for a business, the strategy is built around the business vision, mission, and objectives. But in your personal life, same as when he's arranging a wedding. It's built around the team of people involved in the wedding, not only him, but also the bride, the groom, and the parents. Because if you upset the parents, they won't come to the wedding. And if you upset the bride or groom, then there will be no wedding. So you need to work with all parties and have a common strategy in order to be able to achieve that goal. I have a hand has gone up. Mr. Surrender, would you like to open? Surrender, can you open your microphone and talk to me, Surrender? Go ahead. Are you there, Surrender?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. You've raised your hand. Tell me, do you want to add anything to why effective strategy? Are you there, Surrender? Surrender, can you open your microphone again? Are you there,
Yes,
Mr. Yeah, explain to me, what is effective strategy? Do you understand? Are you there, Surrender? Do you understand what is effective strategy? Yes or no? Okay, it's all right. You just listen. I will explain it again. You need to pay attention, Surrender, so you learn something. Effective strategy is basically the plan on how you're going to prioritize your life. For example, if you're studying in Singapore, how are you going to prioritize so you pass your exams rather than fail and go back to your country and say to your parents, I failed? All of that requires strategy. First, you need to believe in yourself and study, and you need to have a strategy. Every day I go home, I study from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock. I have dinner from 8 till 8:30. I study from 8:30 till 10:30. I watch TV for half an hour. I go to sleep. I repeat the process the next day. You should have a strategy, a plan, a process. All right. So what is the first part of having an effective strategy? What is it? Can anyone tell me before I tell you, what do you think is the first step in having an effective strategy? Who would like to share with me their idea? Come on, don't let the guys always talk. I want to hear from all the women here. Ninda Dem, tell me, if you wanted to plan a strategy, what do you think the first step would be, gorgeous? Go ahead, unmute your microphone. Hi, Ninda. If you had to plan or prioritize something that you're achieving, what would be the first step for you?
I would plan for myself first, sir.
How would you do that? Tell me, what would you do? Would you write everything down and then try to put it in order, or how would you do it?
I would plan and do accordingly, sir.
So
Firstly,
you,
I think I will list down the notes and
very good.
do
That's what I
accordingly.
wanted to hear. List down the notes. I wanted to hear the word list. Thank you very much, Ninda. You're on the right track. I'll come back to you. Good girl. Okay, let's go to Paul John. Paul John, tell me, what were you going to add to the discussion? Go ahead, Paul.
All right. So, well, in our everyday lives, we always do strategies with everything. Like, for example, washing the dishes. All right. So before you wash the dishes, what you need to do? Of course, you need to remove all the leftovers, and then rinse them first with water, and begin washing the glasses, the mugs. All right. After that, you need to follow up with the utensils, and then all the plates, the bowls, and then that will be the one that you use for cooking, like the frying pan. And then make sure that you segregate the biodegradable and non-biodegradable to make sure that everything isn't perfect.
Paul, I wish you would come and do my dishes because I don't even plan to do dishes. I throw them in the dishwasher and hit the button. But thank you. Paul has given you the perfect example of the importance of prioritizing and having a plan on how to do the dishes. Now, when Paul mentioned degradable and biodegradable, I have never heard anyone mention that when doing their dishes. Paul, congratulations, mate. Where did you go, Paul? Open your microphone again. Open your microphone, Paul. Unmute your microphone. Are you there, Paul?
Yeah, it's already unmuted.
Paul, can I ask you, do you do the dishes every day at home?
Yes, well, my first job, because I needed to put myself in school when I was still studying in primary school.
Yeah,
I
what was it?
a usher in some kind of small eatery in my country. I was in grade 4.
At
And
grade 4, you were washing dishes.
I did. Yeah.
My God. Can I tell you, Paul, you must be a master at washing dishes. Can I ask you, how long did you have that job for?
Maybe grade 4, 5, 6, first year, second year, so 5 years.
And your teacher was an old man or an old lady?
Well, no. The teacher is myself. And no, I mean, I did that as my job because I needed to put myself in school. So of course, I need allowance for myself. I need to pay for my transportation.
Oh,
so.
hey, listen, I clean toilets. I clean shit toilets at McDonald's with all the drunks. I used to work at a 24-hour McDonald's and I had to clean drunks vomiting on the floor because I was just a shit cleaner. That was my first job to go through university as well. So I know where you're coming from. So when my wife cleans the toilet, I tell her it's not clean. Then I get the toothbrush and Dettol and scrub all the grout between the tiles. And she says, but who uses a toothbrush to clean a toilet? I said, I do. I learned it at McDonald's. All right. So thank you, Paul. You've actually really helped me. Do you understand, everybody, now how important prioritization is? Yes or no? Thank you, Paul. Let's talk to Now. Now, hello, Now. You've raised your hand, ma'am. Open your microphone for me, gorgeous. Hi, Now. Unmute your microphone now, Hi, now, what would you like to say about prioritization?
For me, everything before I do, firstly I think carefully, and then I discuss with my family first, and then I discuss with my friends to give me advice. I will ask them to give me advice. The thing that I think is it correct or not before I do everything.
Well, you're on the right track now, and hopefully after today's lesson, I'm going to give you a link to an Excel chart, which will help you do that electronically, all right? But I want you to learn from today's lesson. Thank you so much, young lady. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let me go on. The first element of strategy or effective strategy is to do what our first student mentioned, have a to-do list. Does everybody know what a to-do list is? That means you get a white piece of paper, you put it on a clipboard, you sit on the bed with a packet of tissues and a cup of coffee. You write down what you want to achieve. Marie, for example, could write down, I want to have 3 children in 3 years. That would be a very difficult task, Marie. You'd be a very tired mother, all right? Very tired. Okay, so Marie would plan. First child this year, second child next year, third child next year. And she would put dates. She would go and discuss them with her husband and make sure he's happy to entertain her, or they're happy to entertain one another. And then they would carefully have a to-do list. They will go and see a doctor. They will do this. They will do that. They will do that. Who's going to change the nappies? Who's going to be responsible for making the bottles? Who's going to wash the nappies? Who's going to go to the supermarket? Who's going to rush Marie to hospital on the day when the baby has to be delivered? All of that is part of the things to do list. Marie, I'm only speaking hypothetically. I know that you're not going to do that, but I'm just giving you as an example. All right? Example. All right. So a things to do list. Let's talk about that. Or if Marie plans to go out, let's change the scenario and make Marie happy. If Marie is a single young lady and tonight she's planning to go out and meet a new boyfriend, she would probably plan and strategize. I'm not going to that nightclub because they're all old. This nightclub here, they're all poor. This nightclub, they all drive Ferraris. So I will go to the nightclub where all the boys drive Ferraris. Because if I find a boyfriend with a Ferrari, I'll be sitting next to him in the red Ferrari and I'll be a very happy girl. Right, Marie? Does that make you happier now? Is that an easier strategy? All right, there you go. So the first thing Marie would have to do is come up with a things to do list and prioritize where she's going to go and when she's going to go, what she's going to wear, who's going with her, what color makeup, etc., etc., etc. Let's have a look at the things to do list. Okay, guys, let's have a look at the things to do list. Okay, where is my to-do list gone? Here we go. This is a things to do list. A things to do list shows the date, the activity, the task, and the item. That is the first thing in the to-do list. Now, the to-do list would be for Marie to get a boyfriend. So the name would be Target, find boyfriend, or Marie, new boyfriend, or Marie, finding man with Ferrari, for example, hypothetically. Okay, let's go on. Then she would set the priorities, numbering them from 1 to 5, and then the system would allocate high, medium, or low. So what is the highest priority? Number 1 is what? Deciding which nightclub you go to. Number 2, the next one could be finding the dress to wear. Number 3, getting your hair and makeup done. And then she would prioritize them, the highest to the lowest priority. Once she's done that, as she completes the tasks, finding the nightclub or writing down deciding the night club completed, then the system will tell her what percentage she has achieved until she achieves all the tasks. But what will her final task be? Finding the boy with a Ferrari. If she never accomplishes that, then she will have to go back to the beginning and start looking for another nightclub. As soon as you mark a task as completed, the task gets crossed off, stricken through. Okay, the row automatically gets shaded in green color. The progress bar changes to show percentage of tasks completed based on the priority. So if this task was high priority and it's completed, the next task that's high priority would go to the top. Does everybody understand what I'm saying, guys? Yes or no? Do you all understand what I mean by priorities? Yes or no? Do you all understand what a task list is? Put your hand up. Marie, are you going to use this task list? Yes, Marie, or no, Marie? Good on you, Marie. Okay. And you don't need to use it for a boyfriend, Marie. You can use it for work. I was only joking with you, all right? Okay. All right, good on you. Okay, Tantan A. Where are you, Tantan A? Open your microphone for me. Open your microphone, Tantan. Are you there? Tantan A? Yeah, go ahead. You have a question for me? Go ahead.
I have seen and any question. I have no question.
All right, okay. All right, do you understand what I've explained so far? Okay, obviously she does. Okay, I've got somebody else looking at me very seriously here. Reina De Joldi, how are you? Open your microphone, Reina. You look like a very, very, very serious concentration. Tell me, what are you going to use a prioritization list for? What is it that you want to do soon that you need to prioritize? Go ahead, Reina. Can you unmute your microphone, Reina? My co-host, could you help Reina unmute her microphone, please? Reina? I think, okay, go ahead, Reina. Good afternoon. How are you today?
Hello, good afternoon.
Tell me, Reina, what sort of things are you doing in your life that would need for you to prioritize? Can you give me an example?
These days need to prioritize my work and then actually care for my children as well as that.
Fantastic. So do you think that what I'm explaining to you today is going to help you? Good, excellent. I'll talk to you shortly. Thank you, Reina. Okay, guys, let's go. Okay, so once we've got the to-do list and we mark completed, as I said, things will change on the to-do list and other priorities will become more important. Okay, so when we prioritize things, we prioritize them by weightage. And I'm going to teach you more about weightage shortly. But obviously, if it's 1, it's very low priority. It's something that's not important at all. If it's 2, it's a little more important. If it's 3, that means it is important, but not now, later. If it's 4, it is important. That means it could affect you achieving your task or not. And 5 carries high priority. To calculate progress using the progress bar, this is how this software works. I'll give you an example. It adds all the weights for all the activities you've listed. For example, if there are 2 high priority tasks and 1 medium priority task and 1 low priority task, the total score would be 14. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 3 plus 1 is 14. That's how the software I'm going to share with you calculates your score as far as progress is concerned. Completed score. The software adds all the weights for all the activities that are completed. For example, if out of 4 activities, 1 high priority activity has been completed, then the completed score the software will award is 5. And then the software will calculate a percentage so you know the percentage completed. The value when we divide the completed score with the total score, for example, in the case above, it would be 35.7, which should be 5 for the completed task divided by the total points of 14 for all the tasks that you are yet to complete. Does everybody understand that? Raise your hands for me, please. Come on, raise your hands. Does everybody understand what I just explained? Yes, good, excellent, thank you. Let me go on. So, the software that I'm going to share with you today actually calculates the score and shows it to you automatically. So here you've completed one task. That task was ranked at 5 high. So that means you had completed 37.5% of the total tasks you have, which added up to 14 points. So the more tasks you list, the higher the score. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? Put up your finger, please. Come on. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so again, once it's completed, the system will mark it green and etc. Now, if after you've completed it, you find out that it wasn't really completed, you can go back to the software and put it in progress again. And again, the system will recalculate the percentage for you. This here is the actual link for the spreadsheet. I'm going to share the link with you now in the chat box so you can practice with the spreadsheet over the weekend and start using it in your daily life. And then on Monday, when you receive the PowerPoint, I will send you the link also again. One moment, please. Let me share the link. Just one moment, please. One moment. Okay, everybody. Can everybody go to the chat box now? Everybody go to the chat box now. I suggest you copy this Excel link. Don't tell me you don't need it. All of you need it because all of you need to learn how to use it. Everybody go to the chat box now and download the link. Has everybody done that? Again? Can everybody download the link? Okay, can you give me the fingers when you've downloaded the link to the Excel sheet? All right, I suggest your homework tonight is to start building a task list for your life for the rest of the year. So today we are in August. I want you to come up with a task list up to Christmas this year, okay? Including your Christmas shopping. Does everybody understand that? Now, there may be 100 tasks. That's okay. I want you to rank them in order. Which is the most important? Which is the least important? For me, Christmas shopping carries number 5. Okay? But you need to put them in the right order. So Christmas shopping should not be number 1. Number 1 should be something that you want to achieve next week or next month. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? Okay, good. Okay, let me go back to the PowerPoint. So now everybody has the link. Let's go on. So, ladies and gentlemen, the second part of strategy is once you've got that link, is to properly identify high priority. And by doing that, you need to ask yourself every time, what are the implications if this is not high priority? What are the consequences if this high priority is not achieved? You need to answer that before you make it high priority. Number 2, you need to consider the deadlines. If I set it as high priority now, will that delay me from doing other things that have more serious consequences? Or should this be medium priority until I achieve the more important steps which I need in order to complete the medium priority? You need to evaluate the impact and the consequences, as I've just told you. Does everybody here know what I mean by consequences? Who can tell me, what does consequences mean? Somebody who's happy and really has suffered consequences. Tell me, what does that mean? I'm not going to pick on Marie again. She's going to get very upset with me. I've already picked on her twice today. I know she wants me to, but I don't want to. All right. Next session, Marie, next week. Okay. All right. Richard, tell me, what does consequences mean? Go ahead, Richard.
Yes, sir.
What
Hello,
does
sir.
consequences mean?
Yeah. Sir,
What does
I'm
consequences
clear
mean?
to you, sir.
What does consequences mean? What are
Sir,
consequences?
the consequence mean is the one that without doing the prioritizing for
No,
for
no, no,
it, you
no.
will
That's a failure to achieve strategy. But what is the consequence of you not prioritizing? What do I mean by consequence?
consequence is the negative feedback from
The negative
it, sir.
effect. The negative effect, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me an example? Let's take an example. Okay. Let's take an example.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
You
I
let me
will give the sample, sir.
give me an example of a negative consequence. Go ahead.
Yeah, for example, sir, my deadline is this coming Sunday, tomorrow, and I'm still lying my back on my bed. So I was thinking that I still have time, and then after that, you just fall asleep until you wake up at evening. So instead of doing and start your priorities, you just take it easy, and then the consequence is you forgot that you have something important to do. So
And
that's the
Raina was smiling, so she obviously forgets all the time, and she really needs to use a prioritization list. Am I right, Raina? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Well, Richard's example is something that fits all of you, especially the students who are studying with us. They always join class late. Today we started at 5 o'clock. Most of you came in at 5:15 because you don't have your priorities right. I would pray that one day you will all be in my class at 5 o'clock. And I told you last week to invite all your student friends. None of you have done that. Everybody who goes to the same class as you need to convince them to come to this session. Yes, Marie, you too. Yes, Marie. Okay, all right. So, and I want to see you on time. But let me apologize. Marie was one of the first girls in the class tonight. So you were not late, Marie. I'm talking about everybody else. Okay, all right. Does everybody understand what I mean by prioritization? And don't thank me for that. Thank Richard, because he said when he's lazy on his bum, sitting on the bed and forgets to do the work, he wakes up at 1 o'clock in the morning and realizes that at 8 o'clock when he goes to the office, his boss is going to raise his voice because Richard hasn't prepared the report. Is that right, Richard? That is the consequence. And what is the possible consequence? Richard might get fired tomorrow because his boss is sick of Richard being lazy and every day come to work and say, boss, I didn't get enough sleep. I was busy with my girlfriend. I'll do it now. Can we delay the meeting for 1 hour? Would you do that, Richard? No? Good boy. Good man. Excellent. Richard, I want you to be as successful as me. In actual fact, I want you to be more successful than me. Do you understand that, Richard? Stay focused. All right, good man. Let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl Naval. Good evening. Good afternoon, Cheryl. How are you today? Open your microphone for me, Cheryl. Are you there, Cheryl? Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
Yeah. Hi.
Tell me, can you give
Sorry
me
for
an
my
example?
background. I'm
That's
doing a
okay.
grocery shop.
Can you give me an example of consequences if you don't prioritize your task? What are the consequences?
Okay. Because for me, you have asked like, what is a consequence? So it's either like a positive or a negative effect for a certain cause. So basically, if you have done your prioritization, the positive effect is you get things done and you have other time to organize other activities that you have to do. And then the negative, if it's a negative effect, negative consequence, is like you always like rush, you tend to cram, especially like if you're having exams. for a student, and then if you have like a certain event to do, then you'll be missing some of the details that you have to do.
Very good, Cheryl. Very good explanation. Thank you, young lady. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we understand what consequences are and what implications are. Implications are the ramifications that may happen after you've completed the task or not completed it. And as a result of those implications, there'll be consequences. Implication is Richard's boss needs those reports for a meeting at 9 o'clock with the shareholders. The consequences are that if he doesn't have that report, his boss could just tell him, Richard, you're fired. Okay. And Richard will be out of a job because he was too lazy sitting on his bed. And then he will not be able to sleep all night because he'll be worried about how he's going to pay his bills trying to find another job. That will never happen to Richard, I'm sure. All right. But does everybody understand that, ladies and gentlemen? Yes or no? Okay. Can I ask you, let's look at the consequences. Let's look at the consequences. When our friend Mr. Donald Trump in the United States decided to create all the fuss about him not losing the election and saying that the election was rigged, he did that without assessing the consequences of his behavior. And now what has happened to him? He's been indicted on criminal charges and he may go to jail for 20 years for tampering with the natural course of law. All right. But when he did it, he did not consider the consequences. He did not think of what they could do to him after he is no longer president. And now he's facing jail. All right. He's a criminal in the eyes of the courts if he's found guilty. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? Wave your hands. Come on, guys, please. What am I talking to? Bricks? Maricel, wave your hand, young lady. Thank you. Reina, wave your hand. Reina. Myla Galos, wave your hand, Myla. Are you awake, Myla? Or are you asleep? Dixon, wave your hand, Dixon. I need to see you, Dixon. I want to see your whole face, not just your bald head. Good on you, Dixon. Nice to see you again. All right, good. Okay. All right, let's go on with my presentation. Okay, so evaluate the impact and the consequences. The impact is the implication. The consequences are the after. Okay, please stop drawing on my screen, whoever it is. Mr. Govin, can you fix my screen? Somebody's drawing on my screen. Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next slide. You have to delegate or outsource if necessary. For example, the niece getting married has been able to delegate organizing her wedding to somebody more mature and more serious and more responsible, being her uncle. Delegate. If you can't delegate, outsource. Get a wedding planner. Does everybody understand that? This allows you to focus on the highest priority tasks rather than waste your time on a lower priority task, which may impact and have consequences on you not achieving the high priority tasks. Avoid multitasking unless you have to. Remember, it's okay to delegate or outsource, but do not try to do 3 high priority tasks at the right time, because if you make a mistake with a high priority task, the consequences could be tragic. Can you imagine, Dixon, if you're a heart surgeon, Dixon? Where are you, Dixon? Unmute your microphone, Dixon. Dixon, unmute your microphone, mate. Hello, Dixon. Are you there, Mr. Dixon? I don't know where he's gone. It's okay. Is Dixon still with us? Are you there, Dixon? It's all right, mate. I'll come back to you. Let's go to somebody else. Let's talk to Maricel. Maricel, how about you open your microphone and be a very good student and talk to me? Unmute your microphone, Maricel. Are you there? Unmute your microphone. Mr. Govan, can you help to unmute Maricel's microphone, please? Hi, Maricel. How are you today? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I think you've switched off your microphone or you need a new microphone. We can't hear you, gorgeous. There's no voice.
Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, sir.
Maricel, I'm going to give you a hypothetical situation. Listen carefully and answer the questions. You are a doctor, all right? You're a doctor. You're a heart surgeon. Understand? Heart surgeon. And you have one patient in operating room 1 who is going to die if you don't fix the hole in his heart. But halfway through, another patient came with a broken leg. So you left the patient with the heart and went to fix the patient with the broken leg because you're greedy. You want more money for 2 operations. Can I ask you, which operation will have bigger consequences on your job if the patient with the heart dies? Which one do you think will have stronger consequences?
I think, sir, first of all, I will prioritize the patient with the heart problem, right?
Very good. But what would happen if you didn't? What would be the consequences if he died? As a doctor, you could go to jail for criminal negligence. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That is the consequence. So what would you do if you were the surgeon? You would prioritize and say to the nurse that give him painkiller, I will finish the heart surgery, then I'll do the other surgery. Is that right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will do that, sir.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, of course.
Can you give me another example of where multitasking may be wrong? Give me another example.
Me, as a student of Kingston, now I am a student of Kingston, but
Yes.
my priority first is to finish my diploma course.
Yes.
Right? Instead of finding job here in Singapore, right?
So your priority is first to get the diploma, so eventually you can find a better job.
Yeah.
So you're not multitasking. You're not trying to do 2 things at once, correct? Good girl. I'm so proud of you. I knew you were going to say that. That's why I called on you. All right. Keep on smiling and stay positive.
Thank
Okay,
you,
young
sir.
lady. My pleasure. Thank you so much. All right, let's go on. Mr. Govan, is Mr. Dixon back or has he disappeared? If he's back, can you unmute his microphone for me, please?
Yes,
Are you there, Dixon?
I'm here.
Dixon, tell me, why should you avoid multitasking when you're actually trying to achieve a high priority task? What is the danger of multitasking? Can you explain it to me?
Come again?
Okay, you have a high priority task, okay? You have something
Yes.
that's very important. For example, you are the chef in a restaurant. You are the executive chef, okay? And tonight you have the Queen of England and the King of England coming to your restaurant to eat. But you also have the British Prime Minister and his girlfriend coming to eat, okay? So you say to your deputy chef, you look after the King and Queen, and I will look after the Prime Minister and his wife. So if the King and Queen get food poisoned and the Prime Minister and his wife enjoy the food, which one will have more serious consequences, in your opinion?
Yeah, my opinion, it will be the work which I delegated to somebody to do.
Right.
Because the results of that thing, it will be to me. It's not for that person because it's me, I have delegated the work.
Very good. So would you agree with me that sometimes we should not multitask when the task is important? Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dixon. Very much appreciated, sir. Thank you. Let me go on. Okay, just one moment, please. Okay, one moment. All right, so let's go on. Learn to say no. And I know Richard doesn't say no that often. So if he's halfway through laying on his bed and his girlfriend rings him, instead of getting up and doing the work he had to do, Richard will say, forget the work, I'm going out. Am I right, Richard? Yeah? Okay. And what will happen to Richard's work? It won't get done. Okay. But he's a nice guy. He wouldn't do that anymore. My friend, Mr. Govan, is the same. Govan, if Govan gets a call now from a girlfriend, he will actually probably, if he's sitting at home watching TV and he knows that he has work to prepare for tomorrow, he would probably say, I'll do the work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I need to go out with my girlfriend first. I'm looking for a wife. Am I right, Govan? Yes, Govan? Okay. But Govan is very responsible. The poor guy doesn't sleep. He works until 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. He's a very responsible young man. But he still sometimes cannot say no. I sometimes do not say no. And what happens? My boss wants the work done. I have to stay up all night. I don't sleep because I do not know how to say no. I volunteer. Does everybody understand why it's important to say no sometimes? Maria, do you understand, Maria Lourdes? Maria Lourdes. Maria is playing with her phone. Obviously, the phone is more important than my lecture. Am I right, Richard? Yes, Richard? I think Maria's communicating with her boyfriend about dinner tonight. That's why it's more important. Anyway, we'll watch Maria and we'll come back and talk to her shortly. Okay? All right, let's go on. Time blocking. What do I mean by time blocking? It's important that when you set yourself a priority list, that you block your time accordingly. And I'm going to teach you how to do that with an exercise at the end of today's lesson. And you're going to show me that you know how to block your time. You need to allocate specific time blocks for different tasks. So the high priority tasks should happen at the beginning of your day. The medium priority tasks should happen later that day. And the low priority tasks should happen when you have time. Do you understand that? You need to block your time. You need to do it in a structured approach. Do you understand that? Yes or no? For example, if you're going to cook a steak on a barbecue, Richard, which is more important, lighting the fire or putting the steak on the barbecue? Which one should come first, Richard? Richard, open your microphone, Richard. Unmute Richard's microphone, please, Govind.
Yes, sir. Hello.
If you're cooking a steak, which one should you time block first? Lighting the fire or putting the raw meat on the fire?
So I used to prepare charcoal and lighting the
So charcoal, lighting the fire would be the first task. So you allocate half an hour to light the fire, then you wait half an hour for the fire to settle, then you start cooking the steak. Would you agree with me?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
yes, sir, correct.
When are you having a barbecue?
Normally, occasionally, sir. I'm
Okay.
like a weekend like that.
All right, enjoy your barbecue. Make sure you plan for it. Make sure you light the fire first. All right, George? Do you understand what I'm saying? Make sure you light the fire first. Good man. Excellent. Excellent, Richard. Excellent, George. Thank you. All right, let's go on, guys. Okay, regularly review and update your priorities. Go back to the Excel sheet I've given you. If it's under process and you haven't started, put not started. If you marked it completed and it's not complete, put it under process. Keep your chart up to date. Reassess your priorities on a regular basis every day when you look at your task sheet. Do you understand that, everyone? Yes or no? If today Maricel gets a call from her mother and her mother says, Maricel, tomorrow you must not only come home by 8 o'clock, you must also help me cook dinner for your 5 uncles who are coming to visit us. So if Maricel had planned to go home and sleep early that night, she would have to rearrange her tasks to accommodate her mother's high priority task. Not unless she wants to upset her mother and says, I'm too tired. But I'm sure Maricel wouldn't do that. Would you, Maricel? You wouldn't do that, would you? Yes or no? No, good girl. All right. And if Dixon's wife called him and said, Dixon, before you come home tonight, you go to the supermarket, you buy 2 chicken fresh, 1 kilo of pork fresh, 3 kilos of cucumbers, and 1 kilo of tomatoes. If you don't buy that, I'm not cooking dinner. Poor Dixon has been in the office all day. He's tired. His head is stressed with numbers. Poor Dixon has 2 choices. One, he goes home and says to his wife, you're lazy, I don't want to eat. You should go to the supermarket. His wife will not talk to him. She probably won't cook for him for 3 days. He'll be very unhappy, like me. But the other choice is he goes to the supermarket, walks around the supermarket for 10 minutes, gets to the checkout, then has to wait 20 minutes. He's tired and he's thinking about the profit and loss back at the office. He gets home, he puts the groceries down on the bench, and his wife says, I love you. You're the best husband in the world. What happens to all the stress? All gone, because the consequence is gone. The implication is his wife loves him more. Do you agree with me, Dixon? Can you unmute Mr. Dixon's microphone, please? Govind.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dixon. Do you understand? Do you agree with what I said about your wife?
Yes, I agree. I understand.
Does she do that to you? Does she ring you and tell you to go to the supermarket?
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah, and do you go or you not go? Which one do you do?
I go.
And tell me, give me an example. What would happen if you didn't go? What would happen when you got home?
What will happen? She will come very happily. She will be very angry. So
And
I will not comfortable.
And she probably won't cook for you that night. Is that right?
Yes, right.
And you will have to probably go out and buy takeaway food, right? And then you'll get sick because takeaway food's no good. And what will she say? I told you to buy the groceries. It's your fault. Go and see a doctor, right?
Yes.
It happens to me. Thank you, Dixon.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, regularly review and update your priority list in order for you to be successful. Thank you, Dixon. Ladies and gentlemen, prioritizing your life, prioritizing activities in your business can have serious consequences. Because if you don't prioritize business activities, you can lose money. And if you lose money, you can end up in bankruptcy. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Yes, George. Yes, Richard. Yes, Marisol. Okay. Break down complex tasks. So if it's a very difficult task, don't put it as one task. Break it into 5 or 6 tasks, okay? For example, Richard Dixon has 2 tasks from his wife today. 1 to buy meat, 2 to buy chicken, 3 to buy fish, 4 to buy vegetables, and 5 to buy spices. And his wife wants the chicken from the chicken shop fresh. She doesn't want frozen. She wants the fish from the fishmonger fresh, not frozen. And she wants the spices, but the spices she wants are only available at a spice shop 25 minutes away from the office. So Dixon has to prioritize. I break it down. I call the spice shop. I order. I tell them to have it ready. I drive there. I call them. They come to my car. I give them the money. I take the spices. I then drive to the chicken shop. I pick up the 2 chickens. I drive to the fish shop. I pick up the 2 fish. He needs to prioritize. He needs to break down the tasks. He could even ring the spice shop and say, listen, can you deliver the spices to my office? And what would you be doing by that? He would be delegating or outsourcing. Do you understand that, Dixon? Yes or no? All right. Does everybody understand what we mean by this, ladies and gentlemen? Yes or no? Good. Practice the 80-20 Pareto rule. Everybody here should know what 80-20 is. You learn this at first year university when your professor teaches you about the responsibility of attending lectures at time. The 80-20 Pareto rule says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Do you understand that? So if you do 10 tasks, 8 of them will be as a result of only 20% of the effort you put in. You understand that, everyone? So that is why you should make sure that the most important tasks are broken down. So you allocate, time block them, or delegate them so that you achieve 20% of the most important tasks rather than not achieving anything. Does everybody understand the Pareto rule? Yes or no? Who practices 80-20? Do you practice it, Dixon? Okay. Richard, do you know the 80-20 rule, Dixon? Richard? Do you practice Pareto? Yes or no?
Hi, sir.
Do you understand what we mean by the 80-20 rule?
I'm not aware about the Pareto name, but I believe I practiced that without knowing, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go on. Let's go to the next one. There's another rule that I'm going to teach you tonight that's much easier for all of you because Pareto is very complicated. He works on numbers. I don't like numbers. I only like numbers when I talk about millions. The Eisenhower matrix, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. It's a popular tool used by Steve Jobs. It's used by Jeff Bezos. It's very color-coded, and it's a very simple strategy. It categorizes tasks into 4 quadrants: important and urgent, important but not urgent, urgent but not important. Okay? For example, Dixon's wife says, "I feel like eating dark chocolate tonight. Bring it home." Well, it's urgent. She wants dark chocolate, but is it important? No, because she can eat it tomorrow. Okay? But if she called him and said, "Dixon, your mother is coming for dinner, and your mother is a vegetarian, and if you don't buy vegetables, your mother will go without dinner," what happens to that? Is that urgent, important, or urgent but not important? Which one is it? I'm sure Dixon will say urgent but important. All right? Or important but urgent. Okay, do you understand that, Dixon? Yes or no? All right, let's go. Let me show you the Pareto rule. Sorry, let me show you the Eisenhower rule compared to Pareto. Eisenhower is a very simple man. Rule number, he breaks the quadrant into 4 elements. Let's go down one side. The bottom is not important. The top is important. Let's go across the vertical. One column is urgent. One column is not urgent. So let's talk about urgent and important. So if it's urgent and important, it answers urgent emails, attend daily Scrum meeting planning, address customer issues, finish slides for the meeting at 1 o'clock today. Urgent, important. On the other hand, not urgent, but it is important, but it's not urgent. Network, event, socializing with people in the industry over lunch, mentoring your secretary or staff, which you could always do later. Professional development, reading to improve your skills, and conducting competitor analysis so you can improve your business plan. So the urgent and important you must do. The not urgent you can decide to delegate or outsource or reschedule. Now let's go to the bottom element of the quadrant. It's urgent, it's not important. You can delegate it. You don't need to decide. Automatically delegate it. It's not urgent and it's not important. Well, if it's not urgent, it's not important, put it in the rubbish bin or put it in junk mail because you don't need to do it. Delete it. Does everybody understand how easy the Eisenhower rule is? Yes or no? Is everybody going to practice Eisenhower from today? Especially you, Raina, when you go shopping, practice the Eisenhower rule. Ask yourself, do I need a new pair of shoes? Is it urgent, important, or urgent, not important? All right? Every time you buy a pair of shoes, Raina, you'll save half an hour from procrastination. All right? Raina, how long does it take you to buy a pair of shoes, Raina? Open your microphone. Unmute your microphone, Raina. Unmute your microphone. How long does it take you to buy a pair of shoes?
It takes 2 hours.
But Raina, can I ask you, do you really need 2 hours to buy shoes?
Actually, yes.
Raina, I want you to write I'm going to teach you something, Raina. When you have time, I want you to write the steps you go through to buy shoes. And I'm going to send you the Wally method to make women buy shoes within 10 minutes. And every time they learn my method, they never spend 2 hours buying shoes. And let me tell you, you will get to see more different types of shoes in 10 minutes than you see in 2 hours. Would you like to learn my formula?
Yeah.
All right. You message me or email me and I'll send you my bullet point formula. No problem. Okay. Good on you. Let's go and talk to someone else here. Let me talk to Iseta. Where is Iseta today? Is she here? Iseta, are you in my class today? You were last time. Good afternoon, Iseta. Unmute your microphone. Quickly, Iseta, unmute your microphone. You're muted, Iseta. Govind, can you unmute Miss Iseta, please? Hello, Miss Iseta. How are you today?
Hi, sir. I'm good, thank you.
Have you learned anything from me today about prioritizing your life?
Yes, sir. I did.
What
A
have you
lot.
learned? Yeah, what have you learned? Tell me, what have you learned? Give me an example of something that's not important and not urgent. What could that be in your life?
It could be like if, for example, if you go for grocery shopping, you have to prioritize what you don't have, and yeah, maybe later you can still use whatever you still have, but prioritize what you don't have.
Yeah, but Iseta, can I ask you a question? Do you really think you should waste time going to a supermarket in today's age? Does anybody who's sensible still go to a supermarket? What happens when you go to a supermarket, Iseta? I want you to describe it to me. You walk in, there's a lot of people, right? Now listen to me. And the supermarket is probably crowded, smelly, people queued up, the cashiers are tired, no personal attention, and you have to run up and down the aisles, push your trolley between all the people to find what you want, right? Is that a smart way to shop? I want you to answer my questions. So what is a smarter way to buy your groceries, Iseta? You tell me, what do you think is a smarter way?
Online shopping.
And where you do that, Iseta, when do you do it? You take your laptop with you to the toilet, you sit in the toilet and look at the laptop and you select the groceries. Then you go back to the kitchen, you pay for the groceries, and they're delivered by the time you come home. Or if you don't want to do it in the toilet, you can do it while you're on the bus or on the way to work. Do you think that would be a more effective way of buying your groceries, Iseta?
Yes, sir, it is more effective that way.
Can I ask you a question? Going to the supermarket, is that urgent and important, urgent, not important, or urgent, not important? Where would you put it?
Could be important, but not urgent.
Very good.
Urgent,
Very good. Okay. Okay. It's important, but not urgent because you can do it online. And if you're organized, you do it once every week online, right?
That's right, sir.
All right. Now, give me an example of something that's both urgent and important.
Urgent.
Come on, quickly.
It could be, for example, I have a daughter. It could be my daughter's milk.
How old is your daughter?
She's 2 years old.
Well, let me tell you, she's very urgent and very important because she's mummy's princess, like my 7-year-old is daddy's princess, all right? And when my daughter wakes me up at 5:30 on Sunday morning and says, Daddy, take me to buy paratha, and I said, Daddy is tired, I got home at 2 a.m., do you think she accepts that? No way.
No.
So what happens? I get out of bed, I go and drink espresso. I can't even open my eyes. I walk 20 minutes down the road to buy her paratha. I come home and guess what? What do you think she's done by then? She went back to sleep. And guess what time she wakes up? 3 hours later. And then she says, Daddy, the paratha's cold. Can you heat it up for me? Wait till your daughter's 7 years old, etc. Your life is going to change completely because you have to take her to piano lessons. You have to take her to ballet lessons. You have to take her to English lessons. You have to take her to mathematics lessons. Then all her friends will have birthday parties every week. Mummy has to shop. You have to take her to the birthday parties. You have to buy clothes for her to wear to the birthday party. Your life hasn't even started, Iseta. I'm just briefing you on what you've got to come. Are you looking forward to all of that, Iseta?
Yes, sir, I
You
am.
better
Thanks.
start planning, Iseta, all right? Congratulations. When's number 2 coming?
Nah, not yet, sir.
God bless you, Iseta.
Not planning. Thank you.
God bless you, Iseta. Maybe that should go to urgent and important. Maybe that should take priority on your list because she needs a brother or sister to play with, right? But you're like me, one is enough, right? I say to my daughter, you want someone to play with, go and play with the next door neighbor. That's enough. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you, Iseta. Okay, let's talk to Teresa. Miss Teresa Cornell, how are you today? Unmute your microphone, Teresa. Are you there, Miss Teresa? I can't hear you, Teresa. You're silent, ma'am. Unmute your microphone for me.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, sir.
Teresa, can you give me something in your life that's important but not urgent?
I think cooking tomorrow my food.
It's important, but it's not urgent, right?
Yes, sir.
And why could it be not important? Why wouldn't you make it not important, not urgent? Because you can always buy food. You don't need to worry about cooking. So why is it important and urgent for you? Why don't you put it in not important, not urgent, and just decide when you get home? Wouldn't that be less stressful?
Because sir, because you always do eating, right?
Yeah, I know. All right, okay. So do you understand what I mean by prioritizing, Teresa?
Yes, sir.
Good on you. Have you enjoyed today's lesson, Teresa?
Yes, sir.
Good on you. Thank you very much. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, so does everybody understand the Eisenhower rule? Great. Let me go on. Okay. Effective strategy. You have to make sure that the urgent important matrix or Eisenhower matrix consists of 4 quadrants. Important urgent is where you schedule it. Important not urgent is where you delegate it. Not important but urgent, okay, you eliminate it or you get rid of it. Not important, not urgent, you eliminate it. All right, let's go on. Again, 4 quadrants. Do, important, urgent, you must do it. Important but not urgent, you can schedule it for a later date. Not important but urgent, you can delegate or outsource it. And if it's not important, not urgent, you eliminate it. You delete it from your list. Remember, prioritization offers numerous benefits that can significantly improve one's work, management, and overall productivity in life. Let's look at some of the advantages of prioritizing your business activities or your personal life. Excuse me. Okay. They are. By prioritizing, you can have enhanced focus. You have more time to focus on the important things. You have more times to actually do things properly and do them better, reducing distractions. So really, what this does to you by prioritization allows you better decision-making skills. Enhance focus. By prioritizing our duties, we may focus on only one thing at a time, reducing distractions and improving our concentration and lowering the consequences. Reduce stress, very common one, and you should all know what that means. You can increase productivity because you're able to spend more time doing the most important things in the right order. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, there is benefits to prioritization. Now, I am going to send you homework tomorrow on Monday when you receive my PowerPoint. And in the homework, you're going to receive an exercise Everybody, please read the exercise with me. This is not simple. This is an exercise which you need to think about it. You will get this worksheet when you get the homework on Monday together with the PowerPoint. It's called the Power of Prioritizing Tasks for Increased Productivity exercise. I want you to read the exercise. It says the objectives is to put into practice the principles of prioritizing tasks related to a real life working environment. I want you to do this within 30 minutes. And when you start the homework, I want you to write down on a piece of paper what time you started and what time you finished. You are going to read the brief. The brief talks about somebody who arrived at work at 8:45 a.m. on Saturday after he had 2 days break. And he talks about all the things that he found happening in the office and the consequences of him taking a 2-day break. I want you to read through all the tasks. I want you to read through all the things that you have to do. And then I want you to develop a list. You need to plan out and prioritize your day, what you do say to her or to him. Organize your actions in the form of an activity list with short note against each action to give an explanation about why you have chosen that particular order. Okay, so your homework is this. You will start by writing in an email what time you started, what time you finished. Then you will explain to me each of the tasks. Why is it urgent and important? Why is it important and urgent? Or why is it important but not urgent, etc., based on the Eisenhower principle. Once you've done that, you will go back to the Excel formula that I gave you. You will complete the Excel worksheet to address all the issues that you have to do here. You will actually save your Excel sheet and you will attach it to your homework for email. Sorry, you will attach it as homework to your email. Does everybody understand the homework? Yes or no? And please, Raina, don't say I forgot to do the homework, Mr. Wally, because I was working. All right? And for you, Eseta, please don't tell me I forgot to do the homework because I had to make my daughter her milk bottle. Your daughter drinks her milk and goes to sleep. That does not excuse you from doing the homework. All right? Okay. And for you, Richard, please don't tell me, oh, Wally, sorry, I was on my bed. I fell asleep. I had no energy to do your homework, because that means I need to call the fire brigade, Richard, to wake you up with a cold hose. Okay, Richard? Yes? Okay. Who else forgets to do their homework? New R, make sure you do the homework. New R, I love your pink t-shirt. Pink is my favorite color. My daughter's favorite color. Marisar, make sure you do your homework, Marisar. What's your question, Marisar? Go ahead. Marisar, what's your question? Go ahead, Marisar. Are you there,
Hello,
Miss?
sir.
Yes,
Hello,
go
sir.
ahead. Yes.
Please repeat the assignment because my internet was disconnected, so I cannot hear properly.
Okay, Miss Marisar was disconnected.
Thank you.
Everybody listen to your homework once again. Miss Marisar, on Monday, you will receive a copy of your PowerPoint presentation together with an exercise called The Power of Prioritizing Tasks for Increased Productivity. What you're going to do, Marisar, is the first thing you're going to do is write down what time you start and what time you finish this exercise. You should only spend 30 minutes doing this exercise. The objective of this exercise is to put into practice the principles of prioritizing tasks related to a real-life working environment for someone. The brief says, you arrived back at the office at 8:45 a.m. on Saturday, having had a 2-day break. Checking your diary, you note that you have a meeting in the office with Michael Lee of personnel at 11 a.m. to review the new appraisal procedures, and you have allowed 45 minutes for the meeting. You have also arranged a follow-up meeting with your team in the meeting room at 2:15 p.m. in order to brief them on the forthcoming appraisals. James Chong, a team member, is also having a birthday lunch at a local cafe that is only about 5 minutes walk from the office between 12:30 and 2 p.m. You have already confirmed to James Chung that you will go along. And if you don't go, he will be extremely upset. It's his birthday. There is also the usual scheduled fortnightly progress meeting with your big boss at 4 p.m. in his office. This will take 45 minutes. Looking through your diary, you see the following. 3 copies of the monthly trade professional magazine that you have to read through, an internal bulletin regarding organizational changes about to be introduced, a message to telephone Doris Ng from the training department. You have a course booked starting next week, a message to telephone Harry Ho. You have never heard of him before. A letter from personnel regarding the forthcoming round of appraisals and how you should complete the appraisals with your team. A note from Joseph, one of your team, asking you for a quick review with you on a project he is working on. And there's several other tasks. You have to read through those. And then you have to prioritize them based on the Eisenhower diagram that I gave you. And then you go down further. You have to add all of these things, and they also have to go into your list of tasks. Now, the first thing you have to do in email is to write down each task and tell me, where does it fall on the Eisenhower matrix? Is it urgent and important? Is it urgent but not important? Is it important and urgent, or not important and not urgent? Once you've done that in email, you also then go to the Excel sheet that I shared with you. Does everybody remember the Excel sheet that I shared with you? And then you're going to enter all the tasks in the Excel sheet with all the time, and you're going to actually rank them from high, medium, or low. And you're going to put them in the order that they have to be completed. Do you understand that? Yes or no? Now, if you delegate the task in the Excel sheet, next to it, in brackets, you write delegated to Joe, close brackets, and then you mark it as important, high, medium, or low. Do you understand that, everyone? So in the description of the task, if it's delegated, you write delegated to and the person. Do you understand that, everyone? Do not send me the homework until you've covered every task in the exercise. Every single task, even the phone calls. All right? Does everybody understand that? First, you write them in email and bullet points and tell me, where do they fall on the Eisenhower matrix? Once you've done that, you go to the Excel sheet and you start putting them in the Excel sheet. So when you send me your homework, the email will have the time you started, the time you finished, and all the bullet points. And the Excel sheet you attach in Excel format will have everything you've entered. Send it to me in Excel, not PDF, so I can correct you if you make mistakes. Does everybody understand that? Yes or no? Do you understand it? Okay. Your homework is due by Wednesday next week. You will receive the exercise link on Monday before the end of the day. Your homework must be submitted to me by email no later than next Wednesday at 10 p.m. I will put my email address in the chat box. Did everybody get my email address? Put up your hands if you got my email address. Okay. Has everybody enjoyed today's session on prioritization? Give me a show of hands. If you've enjoyed it, show me. If you haven't enjoyed it, let me know too, please. Okay, let me go. I've got a hand gone up. Tantan A, how can I help you? Go ahead. Can you unmute your microphone, please?
Oh, yes,
Yes, go ahead. How can I help
I
you?
have the yes, I have the PowerPoint presentation on. I will be got the PowerPoint presentation on the Monday.
You'll get it on
So I have
Monday by
to
email.
yes, sir. Yes, I have to do my homework and the before I have to send to your email before to the Wednesday. This is right for me.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes,
Yes, that's
yes,
correct.
sir.
Okay. Thank you
Yes.
very much. You're welcome. Francis, hi, Francis. How can I help you? Go ahead, Francis. Unmute your microphone. Francis? Yeah, go ahead.
Please, I would like to find out whether there is a link that the questions that you set, there's a link that we can download it.
No,
and then
you'll get that. You'll receive that in an email on Monday. The question will come in an email on Monday, together with the PowerPoint.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions from Wally? Come on, guys. I'd like to hear from all of you. Catherine, do you have any questions, Catherine?
Yes, I should answer questions.
Okay. Just one moment. Can you mute everyone, please?
They give us an assignment.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Wally? Catherine, do you have any questions? Rosalind, do you have any questions? Okay. Tarani, do you have any questions? Rasan, do you have any questions, Rasan? No? Okay. All right. Manika, you have any questions? Manika, any questions? No? Okay, good on you. I've got another hand gone up. One moment, please. Richard. Yes, Richard. Go ahead, Richard.
For me, sir, it's not a question. It's just a clarification for my understanding.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, first we will write in through email what time we start until the end. Correct, sir?
Yes, that's right.
Then after that email, we will use the Eisenhower procedure.
After you write the time you start and finish, in your email, you will list all the tasks in bullet point. And next to the task, you will tell me where they fall on the Eisenhower matrix. All right? Understand? And then once you've done that, then you go to the Excel sheet and put them all in the Excel sheet. You follow?
We will just point it every which Eisenhower or every points that.
That's right. Yeah.
From the task.
So you say urgent, important, urgent but not important, important but not urgent, not important, not urgent. Once you've done that, then you go and put them in the Excel sheet. When you send me your homework, you send me the email plus the Excel sheet attachment. Do you understand?
Okay, sir. Because I was thinking also the same that the PowerPoint you did like a cross and up.
No, you just put them in. You just write all the points and bullet point and then write next to them which one they are. Okay?
Understood, sir. Understood,
okay.
Sir.
Any questions, anyone? Okay, I got more hands. Great. Excellent. I love this. Good. Excellent. One moment, please. Okay, let's go to the next person. I've got Lizelda Aliria. Good afternoon, ma'am. Go ahead. Can you unmute your microphone?
Yes, sir. Can we have the copy, sir?
Copy of what?
The assignment.
No, ma'am, you'll get that, as I said to you, on Monday in email. You will all receive it on Monday in email, all right? Make sure you check your email on Monday. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, next person. Tum I, you have a question?
Just I have questions.
Yes, go ahead.
If I want to, yes, I want to do my homework. When I want to do my homework,
Yes.
I have to choose the PowerPoint presentation or access or what. Please let me know what format what I use.
No, you just use Word and email. You just write it in an email and attach the Excel sheet.
what I mean that's this.
No,
I
I
have
don't.
to
I
when
don't
I work
understand your
my
question.
homework.
Yes, yes. When you do your homework,
Yes,
yes.
uh,
Yeah. What is your question?
yes. I just I have a question is I want to use the PowerPoint presentation or the web format or the Excel format.
No, you word format. Word format.
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. You're welcome. Okay, okay. So you do the word format, Tum, and then you do the Excel sheet and attach it to your email together with the word format. Do you understand that, Tum? Thank you. All right, let's go on. Okay, I've got one more question. Mr. Avung Shui, go ahead, Mr. Avung Shui, go ahead. Yes, Avung Shui, what's your question?
No, it's not really a question, a request for the Excel sheet. I mean, the Excel.
You'll get that by email attachment, sir, on Monday morning. All right, during the day on Monday. Okay.
All right, then. Yeah, thank you.
No, the Excel sheet, sir, I've already put in the chat box. The Excel is already in the chat box.
My internet was unstable. I didn't get it.
Okay, just let me get you the Excel sheet again. All right, hold on.
Yeah, thank you.
The Excel sheet I've just sent to you again, but the actual homework exercise, the actual scenario you'll get on Monday. All right, but I've just given you the Excel sheet again. Did you receive it? It's in the chat box. You're welcome, sir. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Please, guys, if you've enjoyed BizTalk, please help me tell all your friends, anybody in your class, anybody, that it's important for them to join BizTalk, because BizTalk gets you a certificate which you can use to help you get a better job. I hope that today's session has helped you. I look forward to seeing you all at the next Leadership or BizTalk session. From me, Wally Rauda in Singapore, thank you very much for joining me today. I look forward to receiving all your homework in my email address by 10 p.m. on Tuesday. If I take the time to teach you, you should take the time to do the homework so I can correct you. Do you understand that? I answer all homework within 3 to 5 working days by email, so rest assured you will get an answer. And do please visit us on social media. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube at the Apex Stories, and we are on Instagram. You need to motivate me by giving me the thumbs up and telling me how much you enjoy BizTalk. Thank you so much for joining me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. I have another question. Hold on. Francis, good afternoon, Francis. How can I help you? Go ahead, Francis. Mr. Francis Kobler, would you like to talk to me, Francis? No? Okay. All right. From me to all of you, thank you so much for being here today. God bless you all. Have a wonderful afternoon, Mirasol. Have a wonderful afternoon, Huyen. Good night, Tarani. Good night, Roslyn. Good night, Mary Ann. Good night, Catherine. Good night, Tranti. Good night, everyone. God bless you all. Good night, Yamuna. Good night, Lenley. Good night, Marisol. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend. Study hard and remember that learning is part of your journey in life. Loganathan, I hope you've learned something tonight. I wait for your homework. Thank you. Bye, Rasan. I look forward to seeing your homework. Good night, Ivana. Good night, Marinelle. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. God bless you all.